Quick recap. Change is guaranteed to happen. Change takes place in a rapidly changing context. The industrial era left us with the legacy of management practices that may not be appropriate for leading change in a rapidly changing world. We have also established that interdependence in the context of a rapidly changing world creates complexity. This lesson will focus on what complex change is and why most significant change initiatives are complex in nature. Complicated versus complex systems. Before going further to understand complex change, it makes sense to differentiate between complicated and complex systems. In everyday language, the terms complicated and complex are often used interchangeably. For the context of this course, complicated and complex refer to different types of systems resulting in different types of change. Complicated systems. Complicated systems are linear systems. Complicated systems are ordered systems that require expert knowledge to navigate. Complicated systems have cause and effects, relationships that are not self-evident, hence the need for expert knowledge. Examples of complicated systems are fixing a car, building an aircraft, launching a satellite into space. These are all linear systems that require expert knowledge to navigate. Change within a complicated domain requires an expert-centered approach. Complex systems. Complex systems, which is the focus of this course, are non-linear systems. Complex systems present novel challenges for which there are no known solutions. Cause and effects within complex systems are only obvious in hindsight. Complex systems are characterized by unpredictable emergent outcomes. Examples of complex systems are organizations, cities, economic systems, ecosystems. These are all non-linear, multi-dimensional systems. Complex systems present new-to-world challenges with no ready-made, off-the-shelf solution. Applying an expert-centered, cookie-cutter approach to a challenge within a complex system does not work. A note on organizations. So organizations are complex systems. An organization could be structured with simple rules and processes. However, the human element of organizations make them complex systems. Most significant change initiatives are complex. So, use case. Imagine you are the leader of a technology company. Let us call the company ABC Tech. The company is a dominant player in the hospitality industry. The company, ABC Tech, has been in business for 20 years, during which you have led an expansion beyond Europe, where the business started, into several nations globally. However, there are several challenges. Challenge number 1, competition. 5 years ago, 2 new companies have entered the marketplace. They both use new and cheaper technology. They are both well-funded with significant private equity backing. Their arrival has resulted in a significant reduction in market share for ABC Tech. From your own analysis, you estimate that if the trend continues, ABC Tech will face an existential crisis within 5 years. Challenge number 2, aging technology. ABC Tech core technology is fast approaching end of life. Responding to customer demands to enhance the product offering is very expensive. To control the growing technology costs, only very high severity issues have been dealt with over the last 5 years. Challenge number 3, team attrition. ABC Tech over the last 3 years has had a lot of attrition. Some key team members have moved to work with the competition, the 2 new entrants in your market. The loss of skilled personnel in the technology and customer service teams have led to a loss of morale. Challenge number 4, economic uncertainty. The hospitality industry is expected to experience a downturn over the next few years. This is due to global economic slowdown and possible changes in customers' buying patterns. As the leader, you need to lead ABC Tech through these challenges. What are you going to do? If you lead an organization of a certain age, with a certain size, you will recognize a number of these challenges within your organization. In this use case, ABC Tech as an organization is a complex system. Also, the marketplace within which ABC Tech operates is a complex system. While there may be patterns from similar business transformations, the system and the required business transformation needs to be dealt with as a complex system. A similar business may have been able to turn around the business by adjusting prices. However, we all know there is no guarantee that a pricing strategy will work in this context. A similar business may have been able to turn around the business by replacing aging technology. However, we all know there is no guarantee that replacing aging technology will work or improve the situation in this context. When faced with a complex challenge, we need to resist the urge to jump in and solve an imaginary, complicated problem. I am convinced that the main reason significant change initiatives fail is because significant change initiatives are complex challenges which tend to be treated as complicated challenges. Steps to deal with complex change. We have established that some change initiatives are complex and need to be treated differently from the expert-centered approach used for complicated initiatives. Operating successfully in a complex domain requires the following steps. Step 1. Establish boundary constraints. Boundary constraints are enabling and governing constraints that define acceptable boundary behavior within the system. Step 2. Introduce catalytic probes. Catalytic probes are targeted and potentially experimental activity introduced into the system with the intention of encouraging desired behavior within the system. Step 3. Amplify or dampen emergent behavior. The introduction of catalytic probes will result in some form of emergent behavior within the system. If the emergent behavior is beneficial, steps will be taken to amplify the emergent behavior. On the other hand, if the emergent behavior is undesirable, steps will be taken to dampen the emergent behavior. Step 4. Repeat the cycle. With the knowledge of emergent behavior within the system, repeat the cycle to continue the journey of creating beneficial emergent behavior within the system. Complex systems exist in nature and in our everyday lives. As individuals, we are good at dealing with complexity. However, when we operate within the context of formal organizations, dealing with complexity tends to be more challenging. Complexity in everyday life. Imagine, if you can, that a good friend of yours is hosting a party where 50 guests will be attending. There will be a dance floor at the party venue. Your friend has kindly asked that you select songs during the dancing section of the party, with the objective of making sure as many guests as possible join in the dancing. Approaching this as a complex system, you will intuitively follow the 4 steps for dealing with complex systems. Step 1. Establish boundary constraints. So you will ask, what is the maximum volume at which music can be played at the party? You may also ask, when does the music need to stop? You will also define the music cannot suddenly stop during the party. Step 2. Introduce catalytic probes. Play some music. Observe the reaction of guests to the music being played. Step 3. Amplify or dampen emergent behavior. If the emergent behavior of guests is to start smiling, nodding their heads, or dancing, you could amplify the emergent behavior. Amplification could involve increasing the volume within the boundary constraints. The song could be repeated. A similar song could be queued up to play next. If the emergent behavior of the guest is to stop smiling and reduce movement on the dance floor, you could dampen the emergent behavior. Dampening could involve mixing the song being played with a faster song, or switching to a different song before the current song finishes, or a different type of song could be queued up to play next. Step 4. Repeat the cycle. Repeat steps 1 to 3 for the duration of the party. Overlap between complex and complicated. We've already distinguished between complex and complicated systems. We have defined complex systems as unordered systems with cause and effect relationships that can only be identified in hindsight. Complicated systems have been defined as ordered systems with direct cause and effect relationships that can be identified beforehand with expert knowledge. Organizations can have both complex and complicated elements. Organizational systems, being complex or complicated systems, is not mutually exclusive. However, for simplicity and the purpose of this course, we will continue to compare complex systems with complicated systems in a mutually exclusive manner.